Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Tuesday's a busy day. Whew. We have the Today Show at 9 o'clock. Then we have the press box at 11 o'clock with our NHLer, Doug Smith. We have two shows on Tuesdays. So it's a busy day. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to the show, Dr. Ramin Modiri.
Good morning.
Well, we're going to get right into it because we have a half an hour and then our founder is going to show up with a guest. So we have a really busy show today. We're streaming live right now on the Laurie Davis Facebook page, Laurie Davis. We're streaming on Self-Worth, the Missing Link Superstars Facebook page, the Disability Channel Facebook page, my YouTube channel, Laurie Davis Show Host, and archived into your home TV. And we're just all over the place, Ramin, right now. How do you feel about
it's
that?
It's growing and it's expanding. And I'm sure Jay will share some of his thoughts.
Yes. And good morning to Kathy Bell, our backup person and our show supporter. And we can count on her. I'll tell you that to keep things moving.
Yes.
Hi, Kathy. Good morning. All right, over to you, Ramin, because today you have some really important information for us around finance, and that's about finding the right financial advisor, I think. Some things that we need to look for. Is that what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, I mean, it would be actually general. What is it? What do we know about financial advice? And as you know, we've emphasized a lot about health and wealth and how much they are connected. And really, they are complementing each other because neither one of them, can survive with the other, without the other one. So that is important. So I want to give you some statistics when it comes to financial advice, and you can actually relate it when it comes to health advice. So we'll see the connectivity. Basically, there was a survey done about financial advice and financial advisors. And believe it or not, 36% of the surveyors they did not have a strong understanding of what is a financial advice and what does a financial advisor do. So there's that mystery, which hopefully by end of our show, and if time allows, we finish it. If not, maybe we make it a two-part based on our time allotment. So basically, that's one thing, and I thought that would be good to tell our audience. And that, what is it? 38% of them, they fear getting bad news about their finances if they talk to an advisor.
Oh,
and imagine you relate that to health. A lot of us, we don't want to see our doctor. We don't want to know we have high blood pressure or high cholesterol or anything else, and that's very much relatable. And that's why we've done this. Unfortunately, sometimes it comes too late. 71%, they feel that some aspect of dealing with financial advisor make them afraid. Again, that fear, so they don't want to open up about that because of that fear. 47%, almost half, are hesitant to trust an advisor with their personal information. So you see, you can have the credibility, but if there's no trust, half of them are not willing, because as an advisor, as a doctor, we have to know everything. Even when you go to your doctor, that's what, as I mentioned, especially when it comes to some of the people who don't have insurances, they don't want to know their background, so they don't want to open up about their, where they stand from their health, but also their wealth. And again, 49%, again half, they have a fear of paying advisors a lot of money. They say, oh, I can do it on my own. And of course, we have so much information out there. So they have that fear. And then 41% feel an advisor might not be able to help them. And I've heard that with also when it comes to health, a lot of people say, well, why do I want to go to see the doctor? Why
Yeah.
do I want to go to emergency? Why do I want to go? I can take care of it. I can Google it. I can go on YouTube. So you can see a lot of relationships. So hopefully by end of our session, we will have much clear idea what does a financial advisor do and where to go and the different elements of financial investment advice out there. And hopefully the least that could happen is hopefully your vocabulary has expanded a little more when it comes to finance. All right.
Hmm.
So let's think about the first thing when we think about as a financial advice, who do we generally think to go first? I know in the United States, for instance, the accountants who they do the taxes plus other things. Obviously, they're diverse and different whether it's a corporation. But as a person, a lot of people have this relationship with their accountants because accountant has access to all their finances. So whether they like it or not, because of the fear that if they don't file their taxes, something bad will happen. So it's based on force, not on choice. So they go to their accountant and they trust them. The thing is, accountants, a lot of times they're single dimensional. They just take care of one element. But they are in the United States, they're called certified public accountants, which is a CPA. But in most of the other countries, especially in Commonwealth, they are called chartered accountant or CA, whether it's UK, Canada, India. So in 2014, actually, in Canada, they put three organizations together, and now they are called CPAs as well, and they're called, they are certified professional accountants. So that's the CPA part. But it is something that a lot of people trust their judgment. But the question is, are they aware of a lot of different things when it comes to investing, whether it comes about managing finances, retirement planning, insurance, estate planning? Well, not all of them are adverse to that. So, what a financial advisor does, they come and put a plan together which allows you to manage your finances in a way of cash flow, your budgeting, controlling your debt, the risk managements like insurances. They help you with your investments. They help you guide you through the tax planning as well. And then and also state planning, which is at least like wealth management. What happens, God forbid, if something happened to us, what we would need to do. So a financial advisor is more of a captain in when it comes to advising, but each element could have their own specialist. So when it comes to insurance, you might want to go just work with someone who's specifically in insurance. You can work with someone who's investment advisor. But what will happen is you can actually have someone who can look at all your um, situation, all your plans, and that's called a financial planner. United States is a designation, which is CFP, and now it's globally accepted, which is a certified financial planner. And they have to go through rigid examinations, take a lot of courses, and then they have to go with the regulations, with the as far as the organization looks at their background, they have to do diligence every year. They have to update their credentials. So it is important. And again, a financial plan is like a captain, doesn't have to do all of the things, but can bring the best, but they will overlook the things.
Hmm.
So now it is CFPs can be fee only, and that's what I was. I got my CFP, I think 5 years ago when I became a CFP, and at that I was a fee only. That meant my clients paid me, whether it was an hour or managing their investments. But you could also have CFPs who work on commissions, CFP who do both. So it doesn't have to be fee only. But usually when it's fee only, that's they have a fixed. It's almost like an attorney. They're working for you. So But that's as far as a financial planner goes. Then you have something called, when it comes to managing your assets and investments, it's called registered investment advisor. And registered investment advisor is someone who specifically works on your portfolios, on investments. So again, I was also a registered investment advisor. So you have to uh, register with your state, with the United States Security Exchange Commission or FINRA, depends on the size of assets you have. So, as an asset manager or as an investment advisor, what will happen is I have access of choosing investments from my clients, and based on that, I was getting paid on the assets under management. So they have to take something called Series 67. The other aspect of, again, financial planning is, the insurance and the risk management. So uh, that one, again, there's two types. Insurance, basically, again, that's one aspect. So generally, their job is focusing on providing you the products and look at your situation. They really, they don't have all the tools. For instance, we come take care of your will as an asset, they have to refer you to someone else. Or even investments, it's kind of limited. So you have two type of things. There's an insurance broker. Now, insurance broker represents the insurer. So you go to a broker, they go out there and they have access to many different companies, different products. So they're not restricted by the product. So they can find what is best for you, but they cannot really bind it on your behalf most of the time, but they can find the best solution. On the other hand, you have an insurance agent that basically represents the companies. So they have lesser array of products generally because they work for few companies, and because of that, they're selling what they have available. So they represent the companies, but they can, because they represent they can bind the coverage. So that's as far as the insurance goes. Now, interesting thing is, when I started my career in 1980s as a young person, I really didn't have any knowledge about finance, and I was just trying to get clients. And again, I got very fortunate, ended up with athletes and other things, but I was fortunate to do that. So, but I got every license. So I had my life insurance license, I had annuities, auto, homeowners. I mean, you just name it, I'm out there because I just want to get, you know, just to represent. I got mutual funds. I mean, you just name it. So, um, you also have something called a broker. So let's say you want to do some investing. A broker used to be much bigger in 70s, 80s, 90s. You watch the movies. Now that broker could be maybe for real estate, could be in gold coins and commodities, or it could be stocks. And you hear this, parents, we talk about our parents, or, oh, my stockbroker told me buy this or gave me advice. So the brokers are really are individuals, or sometimes the firms, that they're intermediary. They go between you and investor and the security exchange. So they're the ones you can call and they buy on your behalf or sell on your behalf. They used to make really good commissions, but nowadays, with all the discount brokers, I mean, there's no commissions basically. So most people, they have their own platform. So now most of those brokerage firms have become really advisory in the background. They can tell you where to put your assets and everything, but generally, investors are doing on their own. If they have a smaller account, if they have larger accounts, they hire a professional to manage it for them. But the brokers made money based on the commissions. And again, if you watch a lot of these movies, you will see that there's a lot of wheeling, dealing, and when you think about Wall Street, you think about these brokers in three-piece suit, and so that's how the brokers work. And then, of course, we had commodity brokers. You have forex, so or the currencies, and then you have the broker dealer, which is the organization of the company who is behind that to again intermediate between the individuals and the SEC. Um, so we are going to move on to more of a larger picture institutional side. And as I mentioned, I'm hoping by end of the day you have better understanding of some acronyms and also understanding of what, again, if you're watching movies, you watch TV, reading paper, what each one represents. So we have a portfolio manager, a portfolio management. So it is someone who oversees a group of investments. So his job is a pool of funds comes to, and I was again was a portfolio manager. So you get a pool of funds from different individuals or organizations, and this person oversees how to manage the pool. So as a registered investment advisor, you look at only one. Portfolio manager looks at the
Okay.
collective. So it's a pool of funds.
Right.
So there's a lot of, could be $100 billion, $10 billion, it could be $10 million. So, and again, this portfolio manager could be in a real estate. They could manage fixed or bond portfolio. They can manage international portfolio. They can manage your commodities or gold portfolio. Specifically, depending on what their expertise is, that's what they do. They have a team which works for them, but at the end of the day, they are the ones who manage that portfolio. Then you have fund holders or people who are part of this portfolio. Accordingly, they get the profits from the. Hopefully, they have made the money for them, and that's what the portfolio management or portfolio manager does. Then it gets a little exciting, and then from again we talk about pool of funds. Then some people they like to take some risks, and now we get into something called hedge funds. Again, you hear, again, you watch these movies, you hear a lot about, oh, they're managing this hedge fund. And hedge fund is similar to portfolio management, but they are less restricted. With portfolio management, you have to follow specific guidelines, you really are regulated heavily. Hedge funds is a lot easier, and you're free to do a lot of things that you could not do with regular funds. And but it is only available for accredited investors who have a large capital, because hedge funds take risks. So you have to have, $1 million of net worth, or you have to have $250,000 of income. So there's restrictions, and they call accredited investors. Getting more specific now, especially in the last 10 years, it has become more and more, is something called family office. And what family office does, remember, we talked about an investment advisor who manages one's portfolio. So I have 100 clients, or as a portfolio manager, they pull all the funds, I manage that. In family office is a private wealth management advisory. So think of Rockefellers or Fords or Vanderbilt. So they are these families, Forbes, that they have so much wealth. So they bring a group of people, that's called family office. The whole job is managing this family's wealth. They have in-house, for instance, they could have their own attorneys. They have different brokers. They have, as far as insurance, investments, real estate, they manage everything. So that's called, if it's one family, it's called single family. If it's multiple, they call multifamily. So now that's a growing business. Is again, you have only one client, for instance, for single family, you have to deal with, but that client has maybe $10 billion of assets. So here's a group, and it's a very growing trend in the United States, but also in Asia, like in Singapore, for instance, or in Malaysia, it's happening, and it's going to Europe. So that's called family office. All right. Before I go any further, how are we doing so far? Here.
We're doing great. And that really helps to differentiate, because that may help me, well, it would help us to decide which professional we really are looking for.
Exactly.
because I think generally speaking, everybody would just clump them all together and
Correct.
think that this one person can handle those different roles. So that's really clarifying that for me.
Awesome. Great.
Hmm.
Yeah. So since you're talking about again funds and this general things, there's another thing you hear a lot, and it is again if you watch financial news and you watch movies, there's something called private equity. Now, when it comes to private equity, it's an alternative investments that it is very popular now because investors are looking for and other ways just investing in real estate alone or stocks or fixed income. So private equity is an alternative investments that allows investors to go to privately held businesses. So they're not public. It's not like you can go buy the stocks or the shares. So this is before things happen. So private equity looks for the future Amazons, looks for the future Facebook or Meta, for instance, or future Googles. So they look for those opportunities to invest in them before they have gone public. And it is a lot of research has to be done, but again, the return on money could be quite big. So that takes us to the next related investment term, I would say, is you hear about venture capital. Now, venture capital is similar to private equity, but what they do, they provide financing and we call like seed money for a lot of startup companies. And again, they're taking the risk, but they take a big portion of the rewards or the profits as well. And without that capital, a lot of great companies maybe could have never been started, especially now we talk about technology or medical fields, which is very capital incentive and very much needed a cash. So these venture capitalists allow you to have access to those. So that's very important. So that's called venture capital. Now, a little tidbit when it comes to venture capital, let me ask you this. Uh, in the world, when you think about the highest percentage of the population who's venture capitalists, where would you go as far as the countries go? Like people who are open, because you're taking a risk when you're a venture capitalist because you're
Hmm.
going from the really the seed of the company. So
Hmm.
if you talk, one of the things you always think about Silicon Valley, right, in
Hmm.
California. Ev- I mean, the money is just so much money in Silicon Valley because of the land of technology. But there's one nation who has the highest percentage of their investors are venture capitalists. So,
I don't know. I would say somewhere in Europe, maybe Switzerland, or I don't
yeah,
really know.
all right. I mean, I guess you do. So here you go. It is Switzerland.
Is it?
Yes,
I
10.
just guessed that. I just guessed because I
Well,
was
because
thinking
it's one of the
south side.
wealthiest countries, and those, there's about 10% of the Swiss are involved with venture capital. If you ask the
Wow.
United States, many people don't even know what venture capitalist does
Yeah.
because they are um, capable and able to invest at least $1 million in these programs, and they do have it. So that's why they're
Cool.
very big on this, and they help a lot of, for instance, medical breakthroughs. So anyway,
Cool.
just food for thought. So
All right. Well, would you like to wrap up? I think Jay is coming in. So
sure.
we'll just wrap up and turn the stage over to them for the last
All
half of
right.
the
Yeah.
show. All
Well,
right.
next
Next
week we
week, part
follow up.
two. All right.
Excellent. Thank you.
Um, Anything else you'd like to say before I bring them in? It's just
No,
20 minutes.
hopefully this was just a guide for our next week. So hopefully
Well,
there's
that
more.
was amazing just to know the difference because I think the average bear out there thinks that a financial advisor wears all those hats that you just talked about. They think that a financial advisor is an accountant, is a portfolio manager, is whatever, right? Insurance broker, whatever, whatever. So no, that was very, very, very informative, and thank you for that, because we might not just need one person supporting us there. We might need 3 or 4 different people
Yes.
supporting us with our finances. Thank you so much. That's great.
Of course.
All right. So thank you for being with us today. And I'm just going to take a 30-second break, and then we're going to bring on Jay and our guest. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. You've been watching the Today Show here on a beautiful Tuesday. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Laurie. How are you doing today?
We're doing great.
That's wonderful. We have a special presentation today. I know it's good because this is a variety show. So before we introduce our guest, let our viewers know what today's show sort of moniker is.
Well, on Tuesdays, we partner up with Dr. Ramin Modiri out of California, and we talk about money. And today he taught us the difference between an accountant, a financial planner, an insurance broker, a hedge fund investor, and I am proud to say that Dr. Ramin Modiri has every single one of those credentials that you can actually get in the United States of America. He wears all those different hats. Well, and he actually managed portfolios for wealthy soccer players back in the day. That was his job.
Well, this is kind of why I brought that up, because even though you said soccer players, that's part of the entertainment world. And on our show today, we have from Special Agent Sunshine, the lead singer, BiPolarMan. Now, how serendipity is that? The BiPolarMan on the Disability Channel segment with Wild Child Records. Hey, BiPolarMan, thanks for coming on today.
Very happy to be here. Very happy to be here. What is even more serendipitous is the fact that I'm actually literally wearing a football jersey at this exact moment, if we're talking about soccer players and things like that.
Wow. Let's see your shirt. Let's see your shirt there, BP. Call him BP, by the way. BP. He likes BP. So
that's Chelsea. I'm a big Chelsea fan. If you can see, I have a tattoo on my arm as well. But not to throw my affiliations out there.
Really? Let's see the tattoo.
Oh yeah, that's it's an old sailor tattoo kind of thing of Chelsea.
So you're a hardcore fan.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to put it on. It's funny, I had a really nice shirt on. I'm like, this is the perfect shirt for the thing. And then like 5 minutes ago, I spilled something on it. And then I'm like, whatever.
That's great.
So I threw this one on. So
we're gonna have to hook him up with Ramin, Laurie, because I bet you'll be talking forever about soccer.
Yeah, well, Ramin is still here. He's backstage, so why don't I just pop him in with us to listen? How's that?
Yeah, that would be great. So again, I want to introduce our fans, our listeners, our viewership to Special Agent Sunshine. Now, this is a band out of the West Coast. He's going to describe their platform a lot better than me. But before we get into that, I do want to give a big shout out to Mark from Big Records. Mark is so connected with the music industry. Like the guy from down in California to out here in Toronto to Indonesia, like he's worldwide, and they have such a great stable of musicians, all genres. Like BiPolarMan, he's a rock and roll guy, but wow, he has some Zen music that I was loving. I was listening to it last week. So why don't we get right into it? Before we do, since Ramin is joining us, Ramin or BiPolar, ask each other a Chelsea question because I want to be educated.
Oh yeah. You're not by chance a Chelsea fan, are you?
I'm not. I hate to say this,
I was
but
like the odds are like you gotta be Arsenal Man U or something.
No, 57 years. I've been a Manchester City fan, and
that's
I have
loyalty.
46 years.
They were any good. That was like, see, that's what I love. because that's before they had money. That's
They
before they
just
got all that stuff. That's when they were struggling to like really grow and part of the championship. And like, oh yeah, man, I can talk to you about. I love
oh
football.
yes, and
Talk a little bit more. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just showcasing. I'm just going to be sharing the show because I want all of our viewers to be in tune with what's going on today. So yeah, so talk a little bit more. Ask me tell our viewers maybe who's the number one team in the Premier League. I don't even
Oh,
know.
Man City, 3 years running, man. 3 or 4.
four.
Four,
We
yeah,
broke the record
yeah.
4 years.
You got Erling Haaland on like a free transfer. Like that's just not even fair. Like he's like, I'm the greatest up and coming young striker in the world. I'm just gonna go the best team. We're just for free. I'll just for the. I mean, his wages are ridiculous, but I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's just a stud. He's the
So
prototypical. Anyway,
let me just preset the interview. So before we do, I just want to let you know,
I can talk
BiPolarMan,
about
that
football
that
forever.
that Ramin is great when it comes to keeping your own money in your own pocket. So if there's ever a time when you make those $1 billion, because you know it's coming,
Yeah,
he's
it's
a
gonna happen.
great man to sort of get some feedback or support from. So I just
Well,
wanted
I'm
to
all about
just
knowing
wanted to
good
mention
people.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good guy, very educated, and he knows this stuff. So, okay, let's get into the interview. And of course, Laurie
Oh,
and
we're not
Ramin
talking football for the next half. I'm sorry. Go
well,
ahead.
we could.
I can talk music for just as long. Yeah,
Yeah. And Ramin and Laurie, feel free to jump in if you want to ask a question. So,
yeah.
again, on the show today, we have the lead singer from Special Agent Sunshine. You can check him out on our Facebook page. We're going to be showcasing some of his music later in the show. So, we're very excited. So, tell us, Bipolar, again. Tell us a little bit of the makeup of your platform, a little bit of history, and then I got a lot of questions for you. So tell us about the
Yeah,
band.
well, I mean, the quick jump in is like 2 years ago on Craigslist. I ran into an ad for a guy that was been an engineer in the Canadian industry for years and years, and he was just looking for a songwriter lyricist. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I kind of want to be a lazy musician for a while and just be the singer and the lyricist. Like this is perfect. And like we met, and like the first day we wrote a great song in like the first couple hours after like meeting each other, and then it was just like this. We just like we speak perfectly with wavelength music and how to make music together perfectly and how I write the lyrics and he does the music. It's all fantastic. And from there it kind of grew over the first year, and then we signed with big records out of Vancouver, and then we just kept writing and writing and writing and writing, and then brought on our guitar player Steve, and then the two of them write music 2 songs a week and then send me music, and I got to write lyrics anyway. So I'm flying now, but
So you're the Elton and he's the Barry.
the Elton and the
Oh,
Bear. Barry. Who's
Barry
Barry?
Tobin.
Oh, Bernie
Bernie.
Tobin.
Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely, just like that.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be just as good. And then so, uh, now we just got a band together, and we're just trying to get some licensing and get songs in the UK pop charts, and just kind of build up for that. But I mean, the music, we just variate. Like if you listen to the album, the first album, and our second album comes out in the fall, we're trying to do one album every year for the next 4 years.
Nice.
And then we'll wait 5 years and then do a fifth album. Anyway, so the songs individually are just cover all different kinds of genres, which we like doing because I like trying to manipulate how I'd work in the studio vocally in order to kind of, be what that song needs as opposed to what I should be for the song, because
But
that's what songwriters are supposed to do. But when you listen to the album all the way through, it blends so well, and you just are like, you just go from song to song to song, and it gives you this enjoyable picture in your mind that makes it feel like it was written specifically for you, which is, the kind of the goal I think of every pop writer, I think.
but you're also a triple threat because you also play too, right? You're also a musician.
Oh yeah, I play drums, I play trumpet, I play. If you gave me any instrument within 2 weeks, I think I could sound like you thought I'd played it for a lot longer. I just know how to teach myself an instrument, and I get it, and I understand the concept of the notes and everything, and it's just the muscle memory of how to manipulate your fingers enough to practice doing it. And if you do anything 18 minutes a day, after a year, you're going to be better than like 92% of people on Earth at that craft, because most people don't practice
When
anything.
you
I mean,
when you
things getting better is really basic.
when you're at a gig though, what are you playing, or are you just singing?
Oh, right now. I have one song that I play acoustic guitar on. Our song "Yard Sale for Llewellyn," which is like a kick-ass breakup song. But other than that, I just sing. I just sing lead. Yeah, it's a great song. It's about this girl leaves me, and then she leaves a note on the door that says, "Just sell all my stuff and send me a check." So like, I wake up the next day and I like put on all the clothes she likes and eat all the food she loved, and I do a huge yard sale out on my lawn, and I collect all the money, and then I say I'm not sending you the money, and then it gets all the way to the end, and then there's a nice twist of how the story changes at the end. I won't ruin it for you, but
I'm
super
just
fun.
promoting, as I'm looking down, I can see, I want you guys to know, I'm just promoting the show on our multiple platforms. So as I'm looking down, I'm listening, but I'm just promoting the show. So just to let you guys know. So tell me this. Okay. You're the lead singer. How much fun is being a lead singer of a rock and roll band? Like, give us some perks without getting too behind the scenes. Give us, like, tell us what it feels like to be the lead singer on the band, because you're also you're the writer, you play, you're probably the leader of the band, like, meaning you direct and you probably deal with the bar owner. So tell us some experiences like that, Bipolar.
It's exceptionally excitingly boring. So it's like so much happens over the course of like a couple days, and then there's like a month where like you feel like you're not doing anything, but like I'm actually still doing stuff. Like I'm always writing every day, and I'm always listening, and every day I'm listening to instrumentals that my band is sending me and that I have to do lyrics for, like that kind of stuff. So I'm always involved in it, that kind of thing. But it's funny when you're doing this kind of stuff on like a day-to-day basis, unless you're like constantly touring and constantly in that rotation of like waking up, eating breakfast, going into the car, going to a radio interview, doing a promo, coming back, doing sound check, taking a break, doing dinner, going to the show, playing the show, coming off the show, having drinks, having a smoke, having a female, going to bed, waking up and doing it all over again. That gets like super busy. But like other than that, a lot of it, if you're in like the writing process, can consist of just being at home, wondering what I'm going to do today.
Why don't I pass the baton to Laurie, and then we'll pass it to Ramin for a question. Laurie, if you have a question for BiPolarMan.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic right now. How are
That's
you?
great. I want to know where the bipolar came from. That's a label.
Oh yeah, well I have bipolar, and it's just
You think?
yeah,
No,
right.
no.
100%. And that ADHD, I got a bunch of shit, but I organize real well. I put on a good face is like the good way I like looking at it. But yeah, I figured just calling myself bipolar man is just an easy way for people to kind of know right away. Like if I have some weird mannerisms, that it's like, well, now I don't have to tell you about it. Like it's my name. That kind of thing. It just makes it easier so that, and also like it gets it out there immediately. Like, hey, I'm open to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to be afraid from somebody about what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I spent 13 years earlier in my life pretty much like figuring everything that was going out in this so I could control it and come back to music. Because I did music a lot in my early 20s and was really escalating. And then this all got lost. And then I had 13 years of my life where like I had to rebuild everything. And then for the last couple of years after I met MRock, it's just been like finally coming back to it. And I'm on a mission. And so now it's like I have my hyper focus on, and I have my hyper drive, and I have all this type of stuff focused on this. And all we do is write and write and write and write and write and write, and it's not going to stop. And I know that, and I have no utter unconfidence that if we are put in the position to keep moving forward and doors just keep opening, that people are just going to keep looking at it like, God, they just keep coming out with this stuff. How are they doing this? Because we still have like 2 albums already written already that like we still haven't released. And in the process, by the time we release those, we're going to write another 2 albums, and then those are going to be stockpiled. This is easy. I'm excited. I can't wait to like get the hard
All
part is
right.
like
I'm
the
glad I
hard part
asked
is
that
like all this stuff.
question.
Yeah, the hard part is like all the other things I'm not in control of that
Yeah.
like that frustrate me that I'm not in control of, which is like finding people that like can see your value, that definitely want to pull you in to their atmosphere. And then once you're in their atmosphere, they realize you're an equal and that they want to build you up. You know what I mean? Like
Right
that's,
on. Well, you
you know
just
what I
met the
mean?
right
That's,
person.
yeah. You
Go
did
ahead,
great today.
Ramin. Jump in, Ramin. Ask a question.
Yes. Well, a couple of comments. I have to say, my grandfather and my father, they were professional musicians, and my dad actually played in a symphony orchestra, but he also wrote 280, 90 pieces. He played violin, but like you said, he played all the instruments. especially if you can play violin, you can play anything. So
I don't want
I
to put
really
myself out
appreciate.
there like I'm a multi-instrumentalist. If I practiced, I'd be better at that other stuff. But
Yeah,
drums, vocals, guitar, I'm great at. Anyway, go ahead. I have high respect for violinists. Go ahead.
yeah. Well, it was. I never touched it, by the way, PP. All my life, I had violin in the house. I never touched, so which is weird, but that's didn't have interest in that. But I play piano. Um, it's interesting. I have to say, we are gonna do a show, maybe in a couple of weeks, an episode, what we can learn from musicians to become successful investors and traders. There's a lot of commonality between successful investors and traders and musicians. So it's just a show we will do, and that there's a lot to respect to to the way the brain works, the creativity. There's just so much to learn from.
Oh man, I could talk about that with you forever.
I hope it.
Forever, dude. You have no idea the things that I read constantly that like I'm the guy you want to be stuck next to on a plane if you like talking about anything forever, because I'm not an expert in a lot of things, but like I just read a lot, right? So I just involve myself in like a lot of conversations. But the thing you just said, I could correlate that perfectly in between how an investor looks at something and how a musician looks at it, that it really does come down to two things, which is like the success, and that's like preparation and action, right? Like if you prepare yourself to no matter what situation or room you walk into, to be able to hear something in the right way or be able to know something's happening in the right way and know that you're in prepared and able to actually take that step forward and not afraid to, that's the people, you know what I mean? Like that's the people that do it. That's like with what's his face from the Mavericks and internet fame. Who am I talking about? The billionaire Cuban, Mark Cuban. Like
Oh,
when
Mark Cuban.
when he got broadcast.com, and then broadcast.com got bought up by Yahoo, and then he got 5.2 billion worth of stock and got a third of that, and then before the bubble burst, he sold all of his stock in one of like the best stock sales in history and made 2.6 billion. And like little things like that you just kind of feel it coming, and then you're just like, this is gonna happen anyway. I could go on about that
So
shit.
let me ask you this. Let me jump in. Let me ask you this, bipolar. Because like you said, you are a little bit on the spectrum, like you said, with ADHD and bipolar. So tell me, and I always ask people this, what has music meant to your life? How has it improved your life?
I mean, that's a big question. I'm alive because music exists. You know what I mean? Like, because I somehow was able to find Pearl Jam when I was a kid and hear Eddie Vedder write words and then listen to those words and then understand where those words came from and then like find out what his background was and how his background influenced his words. Just like that journey, like impressioned on me such a heavy, heavy thing. And I found that when I was like 11, right? Like 91, 92 kind of thing. And so then I just started doing music, and like it just clicked. It just became this is the way I outlet all this fucking rage and stuff inside of me. This is where it goes. Oh, this makes so much sense. This is something that I can hear and it won't like hurt me or like, tell me awful things about myself or whatever, right? Like that you go through as a kid. And so music, I started doing it when I was 13 or 12. I started learning clarinet in grade 6. And then after like a few weeks, I got good at it and I started playing in my sister's high school band, doing practices after school. It's like fourth clarinet. And then I realized right away, I'm like, oh, I can be really good at this. And I kind of get this. And this is the thing. And I understand this. And then I just started going from instrument to instrument to instrument to instrument
I
until I
love
get
that
good.
you mentioned Eddie, because Eddie is such a dynamic person. Forget about his music. Like he's such an in-depth person, and I
Can you
know
that's a Pearl Jam tattoo on my left forearm of the Yield album cover with the Pearl Jam logo guy.
Yeah,
I
and I know how much he
oh
cares
I
about his fellow man and woman. Like I
love
know,
that
like
band.
I'm not like I'm a Pearl Jam fan because they're an awesome band, but I'm
Yeah.
more of a rock and
Awesome.
roll '70s guy. But
Yeah, yeah.
I saw I researched Eddie because I saw him. He does great interviews. Like he does wonderful.
Yeah.
He's very in depth. He's very succinct.
It's just comfortable.
He's very intelligent. Like I love,
Yeah.
and he's got a big heart. So I
Yeah.
really love that you mentioned
Just gotta
Eddie.
read,
And
man.
let me just add, because I know you're a big supporter of the ability community, and I know offline we were talking about how much you also support veterans,
Yeah, man.
and everything they do. So this is just going to be a wonderful relationship. I just do want people to know that through Big Records and Mark, the Disability Channel and Wild Child Records has now added another element to its platform, and that is publicity. So we're very excited because we do a lot of research. We're very in tune with bands around Canada, the USA through our Sirius XM show. And I tell you, this guy here, this guy's band, you see, I mean, are you sure you're not a talk show host, Bipolar Man? Like, oh my goodness, you talk almost as much as me. Like that's saying something. So tell us again. So what's going on now with the band so people can check you out? Is there anything coming up? Can we, showcase you more? Is there a gig coming up? Or just tell us what's going on with the band now.
Well, my stupid phone. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's when you turn it to the side, I feel like I have to look way to the right to like look at the camera, and I feel like everybody's looking at me look like this the whole time. Anyway, and then I just noticed that, like, sorry to ignore your question. This is what happens when
That's okay. Don't worry. I hammer at home. I hammer at home. Don't worry about that.
That was a great question though. And so I mean, we're just pushing the songs from the last album. We haven't even played a show yet. I haven't really been focusing on it. I mean, like, we'll probably start in the fall, start live streaming from our rehearsal studio that we have. It's set up really perfect so we can record music live, and then we can have multiple GoPros all around the studio and run multiple camera angles on our website at the same time. And then do live streaming every single week. We'll probably start doing that kind of to set up for the second album. That'll be Special Agent Sunshine Volume 2. And then we'll be doing touring, and hopefully, possibly, maybe playing at the Invictus Games, if that's a thing next summer, maybe, possibly, I don't know.
Yeah, they're out in BC, right? They're out in BC, so yep. Yeah.
And then, I don't know, we'll see. Great things in the future. That's kind of what's all happening.
So maybe before we let you go, Bipolar, can you give out your website or Facebook page or the band again, where people could check you guys out or send you messages or support you or something, stuff like that?
Yeah, so you can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. We have a website called specialagentsunshine.co that in the last week completely crashed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, out of nowhere. It's like corrupted or some crap. I don't know. So I got to deal with all that kind of stuff. But I mean,
so Facebook, right? Facebook, right? Facebook's good for you guys, right?
You can find us on all kinds of stuff. Facebook is, I guess, the best. I tried not to promote Facebook. I'm not really a huge Facebook fan. It's so crazy now. But like other than that, I mean, you can find us everywhere.
The website will be back up pretty soon. What is the name though? The title. Yes. What do people search?
Yeah, Special Agent Sunshine. That's the name of the band. We are, or in brackets, future greatest band in history. That might not be official yet, but we'll work on that. Yeah. Sorry.
Before we let you go, now I know you were kind enough to send us a song, and we're going to take you out with a song. So, what song are we going to let our listeners and our viewers hear today, Bipolar Man?
Oh no, I sent a couple.
You remember? Okay, you know what? We'll make it a surprise then.
It's either going to be special. It's either going to be Follow or 1,000 Highways, which both are spectacular songs, and we have videos for up on YouTube that we've finished, which are really great.
Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll surprise our fans which one we're going to play. That's kind of up to my editor. When she edits in, she'll edit in whatever one she chooses. And I want to let people know that we do have I did set up another interview for Bipolar Man out in the great city of Windsor for this Friday. So I'll put more details on our Facebook page, and I'll send you the details. I just sprung it on him. You got another interview coming up. So
I can't imagine you doing that, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not part of who you are.
Yeah. So this is great. Again, I really want to thank Bipolar Man and the band Special Agent Sunshine for being on the show today. Check them out. They're going to be all over the place. We're going to be pumping them out. Maybe get them on our Sirius XM radio show. In the meantime, stay tuned. Listen to this sweet sound from Special Agent Sunshine. I want to give a big shout out to Mark and Big Records. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Today Show.
Boom.
To the north I travel, step by step, that road unravels, right then left, and I'm finally on my own. Speaking tongues, I babble I gather, collect what matters, hope it works and my brain won't scatter. As I drove, I thought that I had her. Friends and times where I was flattered. I'm finally on my own. Twists and turns, the road kept going sideways, crossing the lines of 1,000 highways. On my own, and today I need the road to open and take me towards the sea. Then tonight I'll breathe, and my soul will open, and I will be set free. Yeah, 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 yeah. As I drove, I thought that I had her. Friends and times where I was flattered. I'm finally on my own. And today I need the road to open and take me towards the sea. Then tonight I'll breathe, and my soul will open, and I will be set free. Yeah, 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 yeah. And take me towards the sea. Save my life and take me, take me, take me, so that tonight I'll breathe, and my soul will open, and I will be set free. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Welcome back to the show. Wow, that was great. So on the show today, we had Special Agent Sunshine. We had the lead singer of BiPolarMan, or BP, as we call him. So yeah, I want to thank them being on. I want to thank, check them out. Let's get back into the show. So what's going on? Because I know we got a few minutes to go, guys, and I'm going to pop off. So why don't we continue where we left off there?
Well, actually, I was very excited for Ramin to bring up, because he does an excellent presentation on that connection between musicians and trading.
Yeah, trading
Yeah.
and investing. Yeah.
Yeah, because there is a big connection. I've heard that presentation from Ramin before. So yeah, we've got, let's see, tomorrow. Oh, we're bringing back our guest. Rob Palante will be with us tomorrow. And Rob Palante is, well, he was hurt really badly in a motorcycle accident. He didn't quite make it to the NHL, but he went through all of the training. And now what he does, he provides education for young people who have aspirations in the athletic world. So we're going to be talking to Rob tomorrow on our Wellness Wednesday. And thank you for bringing BiPolarMan on. And Ramin will finish his presentation next week. We did part 1, part 2, and it's all good. So we're having a good time here today, Jay.
Very nice. Yeah, this is good. So I'm actually just on my way down to the television studios. We're going to be doing some work, so I'll be following up with Ramin on that. And again, we do have a confirmed our next fundraiser, which would be October 12th out here in Burlington, showcasing the veterans, featuring Freedom Train. And actually, I just got off the phone with a gentleman out of Ottawa, and right now there could be in works for another event in Ottawa. So it could be Toronto, Ottawa, maybe throw in Illinois, and then all the way out to BC, where you are. Well, close to you, Laurie. I know you're Alberta, but close to where you guys are, and it's gonna be great. So what we're doing here is we are creating jobs. That's what we do at the Disability Channel. We create jobs in the media industry, either in front of the camera like ourselves here, or behind the camera if you want to be a camera person, audio, editor, administrator, social media, host. Give us a call because we are taking enrollments now for our next employment program in media in Ontario, and we're going across Canada. So this is very good. I think I'm going to pop off, guys, if that's all right with you, and I will see you tomorrow, Laurie.
Okie dokie.
Okay,
Bye.
Ramin. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Jay. Have
Okay,
a great
bye-bye now.
day.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, just when you think something isn't connected, it's connected. Isn't
Always.
that the truth?
That's right.
And I mean, as two music lovers, like if they had no idea how much we love music
Oh, yeah.
and how much music we've collected and all that over the years. So yes, that's great. Extra special today. Anything else you'd like to say? Are you going to continue with this next week? Is this going to be a part 2, do you think?
Yeah, so I would like to get more involved with, again, more of the roles. So our
Yes.
audience can become more familiar again with the acronyms and also different
Yes.
careers in finance. And also some of our young graduating students who are at the university, get them a little more involved what they should do as far as
Right.
getting a
Right.
career in finance. So
Well, I'm going to ask you an interviewing question to finish up. And I'd like to say to you or ask you, I know you're passionate about everything that you've done. You've that because that's just who you are. But now you have a focus of making sure that you provide financial education. Why are you so passionate about that?
well, when you're managing investments, it's that one individual or one business and one community. But the foundation of everything that we do is self-awareness, and it's built on education. And Warren Buffett said the best investments we ever do is investing in ourselves. I truly believe in understanding who we are first, and that will guide us. And that's what I think by education. Of course, I'm coming from the family, from my grandfather, my dad, my mom. They were all aunts, educators. But the impact that you have in the whole society is much bigger. I mean, now at the stage of life that I am in, we want to reach as many people. And one of the things I know my godmother shared with me, she said, it is a sin knowing something and not sharing it. And that is, I mean, we think of sin of bad things, but also when you're holding back. So whatever things that I've accumulated experience was, or, knowledge wise, this is the time to share. And the way we do it and the projects that you and I and our community is doing, want to reach out millions and millions. And we are capable and available to do that. And that's what my focus is. So
Excellent. Yes. I never thought of it in that perspective. I use the word moral obligation, but I guess if we know something, we have a moral obligation to share it if we know that it will benefit somebody else. But I like that perspective from your grandma. That it's a sin if you don't. Woo!
yeah,
That's great. That's great. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up and say goodbye for today. And thank you, Ramin, for all the information and the great questions for our musical guest, and another show under our belt. So thank you to all of our viewers.
yes.
And remember, right now we're streaming live on Laurie Davis Facebook, Self-Worth and Missing Link Facebook page, Superstars Facebook page, YouTube, Your Home TV is being archived. It's just, and now another new platform coming up. So it just keeps growing and growing. So thank you so much, Ramin.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.